So the lesson was kind of challenging. Yeah, isn't it? But don't worry, we'll unpack it for you. That's why we are here. To give a brief, Sabbath school lesson.
Yeah.
That's why it's called Sabbath school lesson summary. Lesson number 10.
There's 3 things that I'm gonna mention, and before I mention them, the lesson that I got from Monday, it was that the Bible explained itself.
True. Remember when you read Revelation chapter 14 verse 12 says, "Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and have the faith of Jesus." So that verse is referring to the end time people. Types, antitypes, Christology, ecclesiological,
you will say that one alone.
ecclesiological,
Yeah, that one.
then eschatology. Yeah, difficult terms, ne?
Yeah, you heard I couldn't even say the other one.
Yeah, these difficult, challenging terms, Yeah, we found them in that lesson, So the lesson was kind of challenging. Yeah, isn't it? But don't worry, we'll unpack it for you. That's why we are here. To give a brief, Sabbath school lesson.
Yeah.
That's why it's called Sabbath school lesson summary. Lesson number 10.
Yeah.
What is it saying?
From the easy read, I got it from the easy read. The title or the heading of the whole lesson is The Real Joshua.
The real Joshua.
Yeah.
Mine says the true Joshua.
Yeah.
So if there's a true Joshua, it means there's also a false Joshua or a fake Joshua.
Yeah, but especially in the end time now, anything is possible. I'm sure there's a false Joshua out there.
Let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
lesson number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sabbath school
Summary. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we are on Sabbath school afternoon, right?
Yeah. Sabbath school after
Sabbath
Sabbath
school
afternoon.
Yeah.
Before Sabbath school afternoon.
Yes.
Memory text.
Yeah.
The memory text, we are getting it from 1 Corinthians 10 verse 11.
Okay.
Then it says,
Yeah.
those things that happened to them as example for us. That was wrong English there. Those things happened to them as example for us.
Okay.
They were written down to warn us. That's because we are living at the time when God's work is being completed. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 11.
Wow.
Alright, Sabbath school afternoon. Let's make it brief and straightforward.
Okay.
Joshua, as we are gonna be studying, we're gonna see how much of a symbol he is. So Joshua was a symbol, and a symbol is like an example. Alright.
Yes.
So few things we're gonna be learning. The first thing that we're gonna be learning throughout this lesson is that we will look at the important rules for understanding the meaning of the Bible or the meaning of the Bible symbols. Yes. Then secondly, we will study how the life of Joshua is a symbol for the work of the coming Savior. And then thirdly, the life of Joshua also is a symbol for the work of the church as for the things that will happen in the end times. So those are some of the things that hopefully by us being led by the Spirit will learn as we discuss. And also you also learn as you're watching there. And comment if you learn something. Just
Yeah. Okay, so on Sabbath afternoon, I loved the first paragraph. It reads. Okay, I'll only read the first line. It says the life of the man. The life of the main character points beyond itself to a reality that is much greater than the man himself. So in connection to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, by the way, which is one of my favorite chapters in the Bible.
Yeah.
So we find out what happened back then in the past was an example for us. There's one thing I've learned about examples, and that examples, they make things easier for us. So they give us a pattern of okay, so if I given a math problem, this is how you solve it, so it becomes easier for you to solve it. So now that we are given an example of the story of the children of Israel, it should become more easier for us to enter Canaan. But we're making it difficult. So that's what I picked on Sabbath
Nice.
afternoon.
All right. Sunday.
Yes, Sunday.
Easy read is saying that Bible symbols.
Yes.
Mm,
Here it says biblical typology.
all right.
Typology.
So we are told to read from Romans 5:14. Please do read that for yourself there. And now, I got very, very few points there to say. It's also because I hope that you also teach me a thing here, because it's also because I couldn't really understand, as I was reading. So it's saying that God uses symbols in the Old Testament to help us understand the Bible truth in the New Testament. So something will happen in the Old Testament, and then when you go further as you read in the New Testament, then you start to put the puzzles together. Then they make sense. So things will happen in the Old Testament as a symbol, so that when the New Testament comes up, you then understand what is happening. All right. And now they then brought up to say, if you were like me, maybe this will help you to understand better. To say they brought David, and then they separate into three categories. I don't know if I should say three categories, so that when you are seeing what is being said in the Old Testament, and you combine what's being said in the New Testament, then you see the symbol there, then you combine, like we're saying, then makes sense. So David as a man, this is what I got from the easy read. So when I was checking, I was not really so hopefully you will help them with that one. David as a man, we are told to read from Psalms 21 verse 1, then 14 to 18. Secondly, David as a symbol of the future promises. We are told to read from Jeremiah 23 verse 5. And then David's words in the New Testament, we are told to read from John 19 verse 24. So when you read from the first one, which is Psalms 21 verses 1 and then 14 to 18, you will read and you will hear of David complaining there, why have you forsaken me? And then when you go down, I feel like you should continue this one, man. Continue this one from David complaining there in Psalms 21, Psalm 22 verse 1. Lord, why have you forsaken me? Because if I continue, I might lead people astray. I trust you there, man.
It reminds me of Jesus when he was hanging on the cross. Remember, I was saying, my God, why have you forsaken me?
So
it was, so in David's time, it was a typology. When you go to Christ hanging there on the cross, it was now what we call an antitype. Okay. So biblical typology, so a type is like a model. A model or a representation of a real object. So I'll give you an example, right? So if there are those small globes, they represent the world, on a larger or on a bigger scale. Okay. So if you also did geography at school, there's what we call orthophoto map. And topographical map. So they put the whole map of South Africa or the whole map of the region on a piece of paper. So it's only a few centimeters from Cape Town to Johannesburg. So
go with your finger.
So that's a representation or a model of the greater thingy, of the greater map, right? So that's what we call a type. So the map is a type, and then the antitype is the real object, right? So and also when you read the Bible, the Old Testament is full of types. It's full of types, from Genesis to Malachi. It's just a book full of types. And I've learned that the Old Testament is very, very important. It's crucial for us to to have a full picture of what the Bible is all about. So without the Old Testament, you don't have a Bible.
You're out.
So and the Old Testament is like the foundation of the New Testament. I've often hear people say, we're no longer in the Old Testament. It doesn't matter. So having only the New Testament is like having is like wanting to pick up fruits from a tree that does not have roots,
Mm.
or wanting to build a roof
Yeah,
without a foundation.
Yo.
So it doesn't make sense, you know. So the Old Testament is the foundation of the New Testament.
Oh.
By the way, there are more direct quotations from the Old Testament into the New Testament. If I can ask a question, where did Christ and his disciples refer from? They referred from the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So you cannot have the New Testament without the Old Testament. The Old Testament is full of types. So it's very important to have the Old Testament. Yeah. That's what I picked there.
Monday.
And
then in Easy Read is saying that symbols and their meanings.
Symbols and their meaning. Mine says type and antitype.
Type and antitype.
Yeah.
All right, we are told to read Matthew 2, verse 15.
Yeah.
There's three things that I'm gonna mention, and before I mention them, the lesson that I got from Monday, it was that the Bible explains itself.
True.
You know.
True.
So this thing of you read something, now you wanna create a story out of nowhere. Or maybe I'll give you an example. There was a time we were arguing, man, with this other mandala there. As we were arguing was now we are talking about the story of Job. I start to explain and say, do you know why Job was suffering? It was because he didn't trust God. He was the problem. And he started to explain things and blaming Job of everything. But when you do read the story until the end, you'll understand why really Job was suffering. So he ran away from the fact that the Bible explained itself. So what I learned from Monday was that the Bible explained itself, you know. All right, three things that I'm saying I'm going to mention is that these things, they help us understand better the Bible as we read. And now the Sabbath school lesson was saying to us, you know, as I always say, sometimes in order for you to understand something, you must question. So the Sabbath school afternoon advised us to question in three ways. Three ways. When you question in three ways, then it becomes better for you to understand what's happening in the verse, or you get the context of what's really happening in the whole verse. So three ways. The first one was that you must ask to say, what does the symbol show us about Jesus' life? You know, and it's nice in the normal Sabbath school, not the Easy Read. What is the first one? What was it?
It's antitypical fulfillment.
No, there's I'm not sure if it's the one. Tell me if the one. Check the
Christology.
The Christology fulfillment.
Yeah.
And then the second one was that you must ask to say, what does the symbol show us about the experiences of the church?
Yeah.
The word
says ecclesiological
fulfillment. Yeah. Then the third one was that you must ask to say, what does the symbol show us about the end time?
That is eschatological. Yeah.
So when you read the Bible, you must then ask yourself. In most of the things in life, when you going through stuff, ask yourself some questions, then you'll get to understand better. But here in the context of the Bible, three questions you must ask yourself. What does the symbol show us about Jesus' life?
Wow.
And what does the symbol show us about the experience of the church? And what does the symbol show us about the end times? So that's just the summary that I got from Monday.
Yeah, so this teaches us that, you know, when you're studying the Bible, you should not just study as if you are just reading a normal book.
Yeah, it's not a novel.
Yeah, it's not a novel whereby I just read from Genesis to Revelation, then said I'm done. You know? So yeah, it's a very important book where you just sit down, analyze the things, analyze those three things we've mentioned. So it's interesting to know that the writer starts with Christology. You know, Christology means Christ-centered. You know? So when you are studying the Bible, always see Christ. You know, I always say to people, when you study the Bible and you don't see Christ in that passage, you're not doing justice.
You're not doing it.
Yeah, any passage, any chapter when you're reading, always, you know, ask yourself, where is Christ? What does Christ want me to do here? You know, how do I see Christ crucified in this passage? You know, and then ecclesiology. That word. Hey,
I'll write it down. You just have to write it down there.
You know, it's like the first time I learned to say Ecclesiastes.
Oh, it was tough,
Yeah. So that word ecclesiological is taken from
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind
yeah,
of same
yeah,
thing. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
about life, life challenges and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So also when you read the book of Ecclesiastes, tells us how tells us about life,
Experience, yeah.
the life experiences,
Mm.
and lastly eschatology. Yeah.
Mm.
So those are the main 3 points. Yeah, you did highlight them,
Mm.
which they are very important when you're studying the Bible.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then we're on Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
It
Tuesday.
says Joshua the type.
Joshua the symbol
Joshua the
from the
symbol,
easy
right?
read. We are told to also read from Joshua
Mm.
1 verse 1 to 3.
Yeah. There are parallelism that I saw between Moses and Joshua and comparing them to Christ, right? So also the lesson also depicts such a thing. So there are about 5 important, okay, I can say parallels that I picked when I checked the life of Moses and Joshua, comparing it to the life of Christ. You see, the Bible is so interesting. So number one, I saw that the name is very important. The naming. So
The naming.
yes, so Moses means he was drawn out of the water.
Oh.
Right. So when we check at the life of Christ, Christ was also baptized. He came out from the water, out of the Jordan River. Then Joshua is also depicted from the word Yehoshua. That also points to Christ to say, the Lord saves.
Oh.
He saved his people from their sins.
Yeah.
You see? And then number 2, I learned that Moses and Joshua, there was a time when they went to the mountain for 40 days, remember? To spend time with God. There was also a time when Christ went into the wilderness to spend time with God. How many days? 40 days.
40 days, yeah.
And 40 nights. Yeah, well. Number 3, I learned that it took Moses and Joshua 40 years in the wilderness. It took Christ was also in the wilderness for how long? 40. So the key word is 40 there.
Yeah.
40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Right. And another important aspect I learned is that Moses and Joshua, they both led the children of Israel, right, from bondage. No, Moses led the children of Israel from the house of bondage, from Egypt, right? Jesus Christ led us out of sin. Because sin means you're under bondage, you're under slavery. And then Joshua is the one that leads the children of Israel into Canaan. And Christ is the one who's going to lead us into the heavenly Canaan. You see?
Yeah.
And lastly, I learned that Moses and Joshua did as the Lord commanded. Right? Also, Christ, when he was on earth, he said, "Not my will, but yours, Father, be done."
Yeah.
You see? So there's a very important parallelism between the life of Moses and Joshua, comparing it to the life of Christ. So Moses and Joshua were types, and Christ was the antitype. That was Tuesday. It was Tuesday, ne? Yeah, what did you pick on Tuesday?
My voice is going. I don't know.
Yeah. yeah.
Going, man.
Yeah.
I think you covered everything, man.
Yeah.
Maybe just to add up to say, but I think you did also mention it to say that both the life of Moses and Joshua, they in a way give us a symbol that helps us understand Jesus' life, you know. So yeah, I think you mentioned everything, because I can mention maybe other things that both Joshua and Moses did. Maybe just let me give you one. One is that they both met with God, you know, and then both celebrated Passover.
Wow.
And and the rest you mentioned, to say they both led the Israelites. And then maybe the fascinating one, last one, it's saying that at the end of their work for God, both men help Israel to make the promises with God new again. So yeah, I think you mentioned everything there, man. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, then Wednesday says the true Joshua, the antitype.
Yeah, the true Joshua, the antitype, the new Joshua.
Oh, the new Joshua. So the true Joshua here, it's none other than Jesus, right? Yeah. So we see the true Joshua spent 40 days in the wilderness, and the old Joshua also spent 40 years in the wilderness. So I learned that it was necessary for Joshua to spend 40 years, right? why for character development, it was also necessary for Christ to spend 40 days in the wilderness so that his mission becomes easier. If I can put it that way. His mission was not easy to say, but but it was to give him strength and courage.
It was not,
So that is the antitype whom we are talking about. That is Christ himself. And something that is fascinating, is that I like your word now. I've adopted your word. Fascinating. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So the crossing of remember the children of Israel, they crossed the Jordan River, right? Yeah. So when they were led by Joshua, so the crossing of the Jordan River, right, just like the crossing of the Red Sea, was like baptism. So when you read 1 Corinthians chapter 10, it says when the children of Israel went into the Red Sea, they were also baptized. That was like baptism, right? And interestingly enough, Jesus Christ was baptized in the Jordan River. You see, so Christ is the real Joshua, the antitype, And we saw good Joshua, he was a mighty warrior. He was the one who conquered all those nations. Christ as well, the mighty warrior, conquered sin, death, and the devil. And interestingly enough, Joshua, you remember, I think it was last week's lesson, we learned that Joshua, he was the one who divided the land. He gave them the inheritance. Christ also, at some point, is going to give us the inheritance.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. So Christ is the real Joshua, the antitype. Yeah.
Now, you see, like what you said before we even started shooting, to say this lesson is kind of repetitive.
Yeah.
Even us, when we are talking, is like we're gonna be repeating after each other. All right, but just to add up, the writer of the New Testament showed that Jesus does many things that Joshua did.
Yeah,
I wrote a lot of things that was very fascinating. Okay, I'm gonna skip there. Yeah. But let me say, Joshua stepped into Canaan after 40 years in the desert. And when we look at Matthew 4, verse 1 to 11, and also when we look from Luke 4, 1 to 13, in the same way, Jesus started his work for God after 40 days in the desert. Also, but by the way, there's something that maybe I don't know. I'm going to say this because I also started knowing it in a later stage, to say the book of what is it? Matthew, Mark, and Luke, right? They are the three gospels. And John.
Yeah, the four gospels.
Oh yeah. So that's something that I didn't know. I started knowing it recently when I get tapped into God. All right. In conclusion, in conclusion of when is it? Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say two things. One is that Jesus' life and death cause. Like English now is coming along now. Yeah. Hey.
I think.
All right. Okay. Jesus' life and death caused God to throw Satan out of heaven for good, and then Jesus' life and death helped us to win the fight over the spiritual enemies. So you just have to trust in Him, and then you will win the spiritual things. And when you read from Hebrews 9, verse 15, then you see that Jesus offers spiritual rest to His people. Read that verse, it's very nice. Hebrews 9 verse 15. Jesus offers spiritual rest for His people, and He promises us a home, a new home, which is the new earth. So that's it.
Then Thursday, Joshua and us, same.
We're
saying same thing.
Same.
So on Wednesday we saw Christology, right? Joshua being the type and Christ being the antitype. That was Christology. Now we are seeing ecclesiology.
I'm gonna. We have to put that name. Try to read it there alone. You will see.
Ecclesiology and eschatology. That's what we are seeing. Basically, our own experience, right? And the end time experience as well. So the life of Joshua was not an easy one. So he faced a lot of challenges. So that was ecclesiology, right? And it was necessary for his character preparation. Imagine if he did not go through those 40 years. Imagine if they just marched out from Egypt right into Canaan. And imagine us as well if we don't go through trials, tribulations, and all that. We just go straight into Canaan.
Pop.
So we won't have a story to tell when you get to heaven. That's what I always say to people. These challenges are necessary so that you can have a story to tell when you get to the other side. Yeah, and lastly, eschatologically, Joshua represents the end time people who will enter the heavenly Canaan after going through a lot of struggles in life. So Joshua never let go of his focus and trust in God. He never let go of his faith in God. And us too, we shouldn't let go of our trust and faith in God. Remember when you read Revelation chapter 14 verse 12 says, here's the patience of the saints, here are they that keep the commandments of God and have the faith of Jesus. So that verse is referring to the end time people. So we should become like Joshua. The Bible says when God sown in Joshua into the ministry, says be strong and be courageous.
Be strong.
So God is also saying to us, be strong and courageous. If you are to enter that heavenly Canaan, we should become like Joshua, to become strong and courageous, have faith in God.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, Joshua's life, straightforward, nice and simple. Joshua's life showed us how much God show us the love of God. And this is kind of like, it's very okay, let me leave the strong words.
It's bubbly.
I wanted to say something else. I forgot. I didn't want to leave it. It just ran away when I was about to say it. Okay. All right. There's something very interesting when you look at this, right? We as people, we understand to say, hey, man, laws are there to make us suffer or prevent us from 1, 2, 3, then all those things. But then when you look at Joshua's life, Joshua followed God and Joshua was happy. Joshua understood the laws and obeyed the law, and Joshua was happy. So now when you look at Joshua's life, you then see how much following and understanding, obeying the law of God can make you such a great person just by merely looking at Joshua's life. So they are saying that Joshua's life, it helps us to see how great is the love of God. And and it's Joshua and us, man. And Joshua was the symbol, as we said in the beginning. And we should always look at Joshua and
there's a last point I missed. When it comes to eschatology, in order for us to be conquerors, we need to have that intimate relationship with Christ. Because Joshua himself also had an intimate relationship with Christ. Remember when he was going to the mountain with Moses, what was he going there to do? To have an intimate relationship with God. And also, remember there was a time when the command of the Lord's army came, and Joshua drew out the sword and said, are you for us or or for
against us?
So and that was another intimate relationship, because the command of the Lord's army was none other than Jesus Christ himself. And many a times he also heard the voice of God. So my question to you is, are you hearing the voice of God? Are you having that intimate relationship with Jesus? So eschatologically, in order for us to enter heaven, in order for us to be conquerors, let's have that intimate relationship with Jesus. I think that's all we have. Ne?
That's all.
Then Friday, further thoughts. What are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts? Please, note down in the comment section. It's very important. And it helps us a lot. Please also show us your view. Because one thing I like about the lesson is that we bring our own our own minds, our own convictions and all that. So that's one thing I like about Sabbath school lesson. So please write there on the comment section. Please write what you think. And that's all we have.
That's all we have.
That's all we have. From Rhythm and Charts, lesson number 10.
Lesson 10.
Joshua. Same as Joshua the time.
We'll have to watch the show.
No, the true Joshua.
The true Joshua.
Ladies and gentlemen, lesson number 10. the true Joshua.
Mm.
We are out.
We out, yeah.
Okay, so.
Mm.